We are live. It is the NBA Rundown. The channel is Nuke the House. I'm your host, Astaire. Had a nice day yesterday here on the Rundown, going 2-1. Why did we bet the Hornets and Pistons? Had a chance that would not go well, but here we are, and let's dive right into today. Some bad news for me as a player who likes Giannis Antetokounmpo. Doc Rivers gets hired by the Bucks. That ends their title window. I mean, I don't even want to get into how dumb that was. Everyone loved to slam Budenholzer. Wait till you see this. I mean, just unbelievable here what the Bucks have done, and it shows. Don't go calling to fire your coach unless you have someone better lined up, because they simply did not have someone better than Mike Budenholzer, and now here we are. If the Sixers play the Bucks in the playoffs, which is a good chance, Nick Nurse is going to run circles around him. This is going to be the same situation all over again. One thing that I did find is interesting was I like, because, you know, I'm not a film guy. Obviously, I just got done doing an NFL show, right? How much film could I watch and be expert at it, right? So I rely on other experts. Nate Duncan, a guy I really think is sharp, dunked on Prime, follow him on Twitter, blah, 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 right? He made a great point. Doc Rivers actually does an excellent job coaching transition defense. And that has been one of the Bucks' weaknesses here. So we should see an increase in defensive capability from this Milwaukee Bucks team right off the bat, right? So listen to that stat. I said, oh, you know, maybe I'm underhiring it. But the thing is, to me, where is the Bucks' advantage that I always liked so much? It was their size and their offensive rebounding. If you take away offensive rebounding from this Bucks offense, I really wonder how much they're going to be able to keep pace here. I thought that was an excellent advantage that they had that they might be giving away. So, and this happens with everybody, right? You can't do everything. You're going to have weaknesses. I talked about it before, especially in the NFL. Every single strategy is going to have strength, and every single strategy is going to have weaknesses. So you're always going to have to choose between transition defense and offensive rebounding. Oh, look who showed up today. It's Jonathan Nelson. Mr. AD's the MVP after AD leading the Los Angeles Lakers couldn't even cover a 10-point spread against the Los Angeles Clippers. What do you think about your MVP take now, Jonathan Nelson? Did you see yesterday's show? Because I gave you a shout out to start, because Anthony Davis, great player, but because he plays in your purple gold, probably one of the most overrated players in the NBA. Great defensive player, but no leadership. And no way we can talk about him as an MVP. Who should the Lakers trade for? I mean, it doesn't matter. None of those players are going to do what you need. You think you need more scoring? You would think you need more scoring? I don't think any of those players are going to help. I think you need another wing. And I think you need LeBron to come in on the defensive end, and it's simply not going to happen. And you guys are going to blame Darvin Ham, or the best player on the team, sitting in the post pointing at people as his defense, as he just continues to corral rebounds, because all he cares about is offense at this point of his career. So I think for the Lakers, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough regular season because he's not going to commit on the defensive end until the playoffs start. And that's why they get so much better once the games start to matter, because you go from having no effort on defense to a player that's a great defender, even at this age. Even at this age, when he tries, he has one of the lowest field goal percentages against on contested shots. My problem is he's not contesting enough shots here. So enough about the Los Angeles Lakers. Enough about the Milwaukee Bucks. Let's dive into tonight's card. And let's, I don't know, throw stuff in the chat. I'd be down to talk. I'm here by myself today. You guys know I say, when I'm by myself and there's no Tyler, you know, help me out here. Give me some talking points, and we're going to make this a great show here on the Nuke the House channel. Of course, Nuke the House is your go-to spot for in-game wagering. The Sports Keg. I have no qualms about saying this. I might not be the best NBA bettor in the world, but I'll tell you what, I'm pretty damn close. But I can say that the Sports Keg is the best live in-game bettor in the world. You already know because you're here on this channel. But go ahead, follow, and share that information with your friends. The Utah Jazz are -7.5 in Washington, taking on the Wizards. So the Wizards played a close game last night. Did they end up covering or not? I remember it was right around the number. So last night we had the Wizards. They took on the Timberwolves. They did not cover. Closed +10.5. and they lost by 11. So it's really close, right on the number, but it shows that this team is playing right around their expectations right now. So now they host the Jazz. This is an interesting situation because this is two teams that we don't like. Thank you. I see that, Clyde. I'm glad I'm number one. My guy Razor here. I'm going to reach out to you next week, Razor. We're going to bring you on, and I want you to be the first guest here for the NBA rundown. But we're going to wait for the NFL to die down a little bit. Once the NBA takes center stage, we're going to take advantage of some of your sharp plays. But everything you've thrown in the chat so far has been money, so we appreciate having you here. So I'm looking at the Utah Jazz taking on the Washington Wizards tonight. One thing, however, is Utah is 11-13 against the spread on the road, 45%. Washington, after they failed to cover yesterday, drops to 7-13, 35% against the spread at home. So we look here and we see that these are a situation for both teams. We don't like the Jazz on the road and we don't like the Wizards at home, where it's tough to get involved. Let me pull up RotoWire, the NBA lineups. Tyler's joking. You can always see my eyes darting around here with the multiple screens as I'm trying to go ahead and get you here to the right spot. So when we're looking at this game, no one on that Utah Jazz injury report. That's got to be a bonus. And on the Washington side, only Isaiah Livers out. So fairly clean game for the middle of January, especially on a back-to-back. You have to like that for the Washington Wizards. Let me pull up my projections here. I have this as a 6-point Jazz win, so that's going to tell you to take the Wizards. I don't know if I want to get involved on that. However, I have this game also at 124 to 118, so a slight lean to the under, but do we want to take the under in a Wizards game? Let me look at some of these betting trends that we have here, or how these teams have done against the spread. The total's gone over in 5 of Utah's last 6 games. Utah 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 games. However, Washington is 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 games against the Utah Jazz. So a lot of good arguments to be made on both sides here. Right now, I'm staying away. I guess I would lean towards taking the points with the Wizards, but I don't know if I feel comfortable getting involved here on the side. Utah's been doing good, beating up against teams that aren't very good. So far, they're 9-4 against the spread this season on teams that have won less than 45% of their games. And guess what? The Washington Wizards definitely qualify in that category. You can make good arguments on both sides. I'm fine staying away from this one. The next game that we have on the docket, on the card, on the board is the Philadelphia 76ers. They're -5. They're in Indiana taking on the Pacers. Total 239.5. This is another interesting game. We've seen how much Indiana's point output has dropped since Tyrese Halliburton has gone off the floor, and we've been playing their unders. And I'm wondering if we have another opportunity to do that again tonight. Of course, the projections are not going to be perfect because I use season long and last 5. So last 5 are going to more, in my mind, more accurately indicate how much Indiana's been scoring. I gave out these numbers before, but I'm going to remind everyone here as we continue to look towards Indiana unders. And of course, it's to close all of them. But Indiana overall averages 124.6 points per game. No Halliburton. And over the last 5, they'd only been averaging 113 points per game. So I didn't pull the numbers up, but if you were to extrapolate that, boy, if I do the numbers with Halliburton in, it's going to be close to 129, 128. So really, this team averages about 13, 14, 15 points less per game with Halliburton out of the lineup. So that already is inclining me towards taking the under. Let's look at Philadelphia, however, though. Philadelphia averages 119.8 points per game on the season, and over the last 5, they're at 120.8. So I feel like we can accurately project that they score around 120 per game. So that's why I'm saying if you're taking this under, you're looking towards Indiana only scoring 113 points per game. If Philly gets 120 and Indiana only gets 113, that's 6 points under what these teams normally do. So how could I be killed here? Pace. Pace would be one of the issues here. And, of course, projections are going to like this. Another thing with Siakam in the lineup, I do think it slows down a little bit. They also need to integrate him, and that's going to take some time. Can't wait to see what this team looks like. Oh, wait. Oh, no. So no. Okay. I just got to double check here. I don't want to do this whole breakdown. Tyrese Halliburton's in. Okay. I just confirmed it. He's out for the game, and Jalen Smith is a game time decision here. That doesn't really mean a lot, especially when I'm breaking down the total. I would say he helps the Pacers spread, but I don't even know if it's enough to even move at a point. On the other side, I see that Jaden Springer is a game time decision. Tobias Harris is 50-50. Marcus Morris will most likely not play. Robertson, Covington, and DeAnthony Melton continue to be out for the Philadelphia 76ers. So I'm liking the under in this game. I'm definitely liking the under. Let's look at how these games have been matching up when these two teams play against each other. Total's gone over in the last 5 times they played. I don't think Halliburton missed any of those, though. I'd have to double check there. But to my point here, and which is why I'm liking the under, the total's gone under in 7 of Indiana's last 8 games. So I like the under in this game. 239.5. That's the way I'm looking when the Sixers match up with the Pacers. I projected this game as a 122-117 win for the 76ers. That's going to land right on the number. But like I said, I think my projections for the Pacers are skewing a little higher because I use so many season-long numbers. I like the under in the Pacers versus the 76ers. 239.5. I'm placing that right now. This should be a fun game, right? These teams have played a lot in the finals, and I'm talking about the Eastern Conference Finals, that is. The Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. A nice little rivalry going here. The Celtics are more talented, but the Heat have been able to get things done playing against this team. The Heat are now catching 8 points at home. That line's moved a lot since I woke up this morning. I'm just diving right back in right now. I was doing some NFL work earlier, so my guess is I have some injury report news here. Not really. Really? Okay. Why is this line moving so much? Kevin Love, game time decision. That doesn't affect it at all. And Jaime Jaquez has been out for a little while here. I'm really surprised this line has got all the way out to 8. My initial look is going to be on Miami. I have this as a 6-point win for the Celtics. Miami, however, has not been the best at home this season. Let me pull up some of their numbers at home, refresh that real quick. But as I remember off the top of my head, this has not been the best home court team so far this season. So Miami at home this year, only 8-13, 38% against the spread. However, Boston, been a home court juggernaut, only 9-12 against the spread, and they're home favorites a lot because when we're looking – road favorites. When we're looking at the road favorite, so they're 9-12-2 or 9-12-2 as a road favorite on the road, but 8-11-2. So they've only been dogs on the road twice this season. That's going to make me like Miami a little bit more here. However, Miami has not been covering in this range and is a home dog, 0-4 this season. 0-4. So will Miami get their first cover as a home dog here? Here's a good point. Everyone will be betting Miami. This is from Razor. I got Razor Sharp picks. Make sure you're following him because he lives up to his name, Razor Sharp. He says everyone will be betting Miami because of losing last night, but I think they were looking ahead to this game. Okay. And I can see that. Yeah, right. Miami, not the best effort last night as they lost. And off the top of my head, it was to Memphis, right? And they were 10-point favorites. So they're minus 11.5 on the close to Memphis, and they lose straight up. Miami's lost 4 games in a row. They've been back and forth at home. This will be a little bit of a homestand. Boston's last game was, of course, that easy win over Dallas, and that was 3 nights ago. Has it been that long? Boy, time flies when you're having fun. He says everyone will be betting Boston. Okay, great. Because I want to be on the same side as you, Razor, and I'm taking Miami. So Give me the Miami Heat +8 here. That's the way I'm looking at this game. And we're continuing to try to beat the NBA. I got a 6-point projection here, and I like the situational spot for Miami. Hopefully, they get their first cover as a home dog this season. And it should be a chippy game here, too. I would be looking towards the under, as I believe that both these teams will be here. But I projected this at around 226.5. It's 224.5, so it looks like they've accurately adjusted the total here. Lean towards the under, but not enough to get involved. There's another game where I think the home dog is going to be popular, but I don't know if I can get there. The New York Knicks, who had that lucky cover 2 nights ago. How lucky was that? It seems like a lot of these NBA covers has just come down to the last shot and some wild stuff here. But the New York Knicks are coming off that win over the Brooklyn Nets. That was 2 nights ago. Now they're taking on the Denver Nuggets, whose most recent game was, of course, the win in Indiana. They pushed, and, of course, that game went under because we've been betting almost under on every single Indiana game since Tyrese Halliburton has been out. Some ways to look at this here. New York is 10-2 since adding OG Anunoby. So maybe we talked about how Indiana stats can be a little skewed. Maybe if we use this last 10 with New York, right, we see that maybe this is a much better team that we're giving them credit for. Denver's won its last 3 on the road trip. So they've started their road trip and they're 3-0 on the road. Isn't that crazy? Remember betting the Nuggets at home on the road? You bet them at home and you fade them on the road. It used to be easy money. Not no longer the case. 2 things have flipped. I used to always bet Miami at home. I used to always bet Denver on the road. I always used to fade Denver on the road. You can't simply do that anymore. So things change in the NBA, and we need to be keeping up on this. New York comes in this game winners of 4 games in a row. So both teams come in this game playing well, which is why I think it's tough to get involved. My predictions are going to like the Knicks, though. They're going to like the Knicks. I have this as a 1-point Knicks win, 114-113. Now we contrast that to the fact that they're catching 2 points at home. This opened at 2.5. They are taking money. The total is 222. I have it at 227. So slight lean to the over. But I don't necessarily like that because when you put OG Anunoby back in here, this defense is so much better. So to me, it's under a pass. I'm probably going to pass. I haven't got involved in this game yet, but if I were to play it, I would take the home dog. I would take the New York Knicks, but I don't want to fade the Denver Nuggets on the road while they're playing well. Next game, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who we talked about. So much has been going on in the NBA this week, but the Minnesota Timberwolves have a lot of people talking. We talked about the game, when was that, earlier this week? Cat scores 60-something points, gets benched in the 4th quarter. The team calls him out for the defense, calls them out for feeding Cat. They lose at home straight up to the Charlotte Hornets as double-digit favorites. Then they hit the road as double-digit favorites. Everyone's expecting them to bounce back, and they basically meet expectations. I know they didn't cover by a point or a point and a half, but to the point, it was pretty much what we expected there when the Timberwolves played. Now the Timberwolves travel to Brooklyn to face a team that I really want to fade, the Nets. We talked about Spencer Dinwiddie's soft quitting or being on strike, not playing well here. So not a lot of chemistry around this Nets team right now. So I'm only looking to fade them, but I don't know if I want to take Minnesota in this spot here. The stats are going to tell you that we like. Well, let me pull up the projections right now. I'm just guessing, but I'm assuming. Yeah, numbers are going to like the T-Wolves. They're -4. It's moved down to 3.5. Nets have taken a little money, and I can see why here. So Brooklyn has lost their last 2 games. They should have covered against New York, though. That was a lucky win. I'm not going to pat my back on that. And Minnesota did break that 2-game losing streak with the win last night. Brooklyn will be a little more rested because Minnesota played last night. Brooklyn's game against the Knicks was at home on Tuesday night. Also, that game against the Knicks was the dreaded first game home after a road trip. Now they should be home. They should be a little more rested. I can see why people do like the Knicks here, as well as Mike Conley being questionable. And Mike Conley is one of those players where he's going to suck for you in fantasy, but he means a lot in real life. I do believe that the fact that the Jazz got rid of Mike Conley and got sent to the Timberwolves was a big part of the Timberwolves' resurgence last season. and the Jazz suffered a little bit after trading his leadership here. So I haven't got involved yet. This is a tough one because I don't want to take the Nets regardless. So when projections tell me to take the Nets, I'll go ahead and stay away. If you bet on the Timberwolves, I wouldn't hate it. I do think they match up well. They got a lot of size against a smaller Brooklyn team. The matchup should favor the Timberwolves, but I don't know if I want to get involved here. Let's look at some of the way that these teams have been playing. Minnesota is 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 trips to Brooklyn. I kind of throw it out because these iterations of the team are so much different, and I wonder when's the last time they came here as a favorite. The total's gone under in 5 of Minnesota's last 6 trips to Brooklyn. Once again, I don't think that really helps us. One thing that I do think is a little predictive, though, is the total has gone over in 5 of Brooklyn's last 7 games at home. I think that Brooklyn is an excellent defensive team, but as they've started to be bad, I think they're losing some of that identity and some of that team defense. I think they're out for themselves. We see a little bit more selfishness, and I feel like the team's losing its way a little bit here. I wouldn't be surprised if they were to sell some pieces here before the deadline and try anew, because I know this is the cool NBA hipster team, but without a true number one, I don't see how they compete. I guess I lean towards the Timberwolves here, lean towards the over, but I haven't got involved. I like the other 2 bets that I made a lot better. My favorite team, the Sacramento Kings, travels down to San Francisco to take on the Golden State Warriors, who are dogs at home. Razor likes the Nets. Okay, so now I can't play the Timberwolves at all. It's Nets or pass to me because Razor's been sharp as of late. He wants all 3. He wants the first quarter +1, the first half +2, full game +3.5. Razor, I'd like to know, is this a lot of the is there some psychology here, or is this projections? Because psychology to me likes the Nets, right? You know, the Timberwolves came back last night, but I still wonder where the energy, where the mindset is around this team. Also, rest advantage. Yeah, 12-1 your last 13. Keep it going, Razor. Keep it going. All right, the Sacramento Kings are laying points on the road. I know we've been better on the road since adding Mike Brown, but I don't know if I want to go against the Golden State Warriors at home. Sacramento 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 on the road. Also 6-1 in their last 7 trips to Golden State. But we got to take that with a grain of salt. Most of those games in that thing, we were like 10-point dogs, and they would only win by 3 or 4 because they would overlook us because we weren't very good, and they were one of the best teams in the league. Golden State is 9-1 straight up in their last 10 games playing at home against Sacramento, proving my point. The Kings were covering, but the Warriors were winning. The only way I can look to this game is to take the Warriors here. I can't believe they're catching points. I have this projected as 119.8 to 119 for the Golden State Warriors. Kings do have the rest advantage here, however. It was the Warriors' first game after 8 games last night, and we laid the 6.5. Chicago was ahead in the third quarter. So the Warriors really need to pull away. And it's funny, you look at the final score, you think that was an easy cash, but it simply wasn't. It was just Chicago fading late. What did I say? Chicago? Did they play Chicago? Yeah, they played Atlanta. I'm sorry, Atlanta. It was Atlanta fading late, which is what they're known to do. Boy, if NBA games are only 24 minutes, Atlanta will be a contender. But that's simply not the case here. I'm looking at Golden State here. Boy, it's so tough when 2 of my favorite teams get involved. But the only way I could look at this is Warriors or pass. I had this at 238 on a 243, but I don't want to take an under in the Kings and the Warriors. You know what, guys? I didn't put my projections in here for this final game, but I've ran all the numbers. I just got to put it in the spreadsheet. So at Chicago, I have them at 112.4. For the Los Angeles Lakers, we're at we're at 116.1. So the Lakers are minus 4.5. That's pretty close, not much of an edge. The Bulls are a popular pick today. The Bulls are a popular pick. And why not? This Lakers team has been absolutely falling apart here. They failed to cover as 10-point dogs when LeBron James sat out of the lineup here. And both Anthony Davis and LeBron James are questionable for tonight. I'm not sure what to make of them. You know, usually we guess whether or not these guys are going to play because they're always on the injury report. I don't know if they are. Patrick Williams is a game-time decision, but it looks like he's ready to go. One of the reasons people probably like to back the Bulls, Zach LaVine out of the lineup, and we know that makes them better. I'm going to jump in on what Razor's talking about real quick. Sorry for bouncing all around here, but when he's getting some good information like this, we can't pass it up because I know a lot of people just listen like I do on the headphones and they're not watching the chat. So Razor says 66% of the bets on T-Wolves, and the line went from -4 to -3.5. Okay, I don't use those splits that much, but it can't hurt your case. The Nets are ready to trade players. I think the good players need to show out so they can get traded to better teams, showing them they still got it. Yeah, I think regardless of how they play there, you got to be interested in guys like Cam Thomas, Mikal Bridges, and Dorian Finney-Smith because they're wings. And if you're a playoff team, you can never have enough wings. It's like being a cornerback in the NFL. You can never have enough cornerbacks and you can never have enough wings. But you make a good point. A little bit maybe of selfishness here as these teams are looking to audition for their next team and not necessarily playing team basketball. 31-13 versus 17-26 team. Vegas knew the public would bet the T-Wolves, and that's why they opened the line so low. Now Vegas lowering the line so they can get even more bets on them. Yeah, that's interesting. And, the funny thing is we always say the books try to get even, but no, these guys take stands sometimes. Sometimes they have sides that they like, and they're fine taking lopsided money because they feel the lopsided money is going to come in on the wrong side. So I agree here that they might be looking for a lopsided line here. Jonathan Nelson says the Lakers win. Oh, what a surprise. I'm so shocked. The biggest homer in this chat thinks his favorite team's going to win. Color me shocked. Oh my gosh, what breaking news here. Jonathan Nelson thinks the Lakers win. What's up, Jonathan? We're just having some fun with you. And I know you think they're going to win, but are they going to cover the 5-point spread? Because, Jonathan, not a lot of people that I'm talking to here are taking this Bulls money line. It's all Bulls +5. And we all know we can pick winners here. Winning against the spread is what really matters when it comes to gambling on the NBA. In the NBA Rundown, the channel is Nuke the House, and get more of Jonathan Nelson's great insights like the Lakers win live on the show. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Jonathan Nelson, regular contributor to the live show. Total here's 228. Let's look at some trends when these teams have faced on. The total's gone over in the last 5 times that these teams have played. Chicago, 4-1 straight up in their last 5 against the Lakers. Are you worried about that, Jonathan? Are you worried? They're 4-1 against the last 5 against the Lakers. All right. Total's also gone over 6 of the last 8 times that these teams have faced off in Los Angeles. So 5-year trend. Don't know how much to make of it. Where did I say my projection? This one at? I have it at 228.5 on a 228.5. Wonderful. Boy, huge edge there. If I were to play this game, I would play +5 with Chicago. But due to the uncertainty, I mean, how disgusting would you feel if you lay this 5 and then one of these guys gets ruled out and it goes down to -2? I think this is a tough game to get involved with because, we have Anthony Day-to-Day Davis and LeBron James, who we never know what's going on there with the injury. And we know these guys don't care about this time of the season. They're going to do this. They do this every year. They're going to play possum, and then in March, they're going to go like 15-3, and they're going to be the team that nobody wants to play. But right now, I can't trust these Lakers team. The only way I could look at this game is the +5. Don't know if I will get there. However, guys, thank you for joining me in the chat today. Fun show, quick show, but that's what happens when I'm by myself. Best bets for today, I've made 2 bets. In my card right now, the under 239 for the Pacers and the Miami Heat +8. I'm going to go ahead and think about adding some Warriors +113 and adding some Bulls +5. So you have to check the projections to know that. But right now, 2 best bets, under 239 in the 76ers and the Pacers, +8 for the Miami Heat. I will be back tomorrow. We're going to do 2 shows on this channel. We're going to talk about these exciting NFL games this weekend. And then, of course, I will run down the National Basketball Association. One thing I'd like to say this week, a balanced schedule, man. I like it. It's not like 11 games on Wednesday and then 2 games on Thursday. We got 7 games tonight. We got 8 games tomorrow. So I like it better. This is the perfect slate to me. 7 to 8 games is perfect for my bandwidth at this point in my life. At this point of my betting career, 8 games is crazy. I still can't, dude, I get overwhelmed on a 12 to 13 game NBA card. And then I think, how much does it feel to bet college? It's just insane how many games there are. in college basketball as I have problem keeping up with these. Hey, do you guys want a bonus bet for tonight? Hey, let's do it. I'm just looking at my bet slip up right now. I got over 41.5 in Alexander Zverev and Daniil Medvedev's Australian Open match tonight. And I'm going to bet Qinwen Zhang plus 5 games for the final tomorrow night. Couple bonus bets for the people. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm glad to see my guys in the chat. Jonathan Nelson, Clyde, Razor Sharp Picks. I enjoy hanging out with you guys every day. We'll be back tomorrow to nuke the house.